How's it going, folks? So I had the thought to do this video about 2 weeks ago, and then it escaped my mind, and then I thought of it again yesterday. Oh yeah. Then I wondered, is it too late? But now I know it's never too late to recognize a great musician. So who I'm talking about is bassist Richard Davis. He had his 90th birthday about 10 days ago, April 15th, and so I originally thought, yeah, I should do something for his birthday, but now I'm doing it, so it's a belated birthday recognition to one of the outstanding bassists, and this is Philosophy of the Spiritual, Cobblestone, 1972. It's what's playing now, and I'll get back to this. He was such a diverse, or he is such a diverse bassist. He started out, he's from Chicago. He started out professionally with Sarah Vaughan in the late 50s, and then started just session work all through the 60s. And his range is so diverse. He was in Latin jazz, big bands, back vocalists. He even played under some classical composers and conductors, Stravinsky, Bernstein, I think Pierre Boulez, and then he made a series of his own records. He was a co-leader or leader on about a dozen different records, but he had a nice series in the 70s on Muse. This is Cobblestone, which Muse took over. And then in the late 70s, he went into teaching music. I think the University of Wisconsin, or University of Madison in Wisconsin. And, was part of the faculty there for years. But he's on a lot of known, and I have albums here. He's on a lot of known sessions, from Paul Simon, Ryman Simon, to Janis Ian, to some avant-garde experimental jazz stuff from the 60s. He did it all, duets, big bands. And so I went through and I pulled out not everything I have with Richard Davis on it, but a lot. I wanted to stick to original album artwork, so there are a number of twofers I have that I'm not going to show. Jackie Bayard, Eric Dolphy, Mal Waldron, those are all later issues on twofers. But yeah, he played with Dolphy. So I think I put these in alphabetical order, but you get a sense of the range, and you might be surprised by a couple of them. What I'm not showing, because I didn't want to take anything from my wife's collection this time, he's on Bruce Springsteen's Greetings from Asbury Park and Born to Run. I think one song on each album. Did I say Janis Ian? He's on some Janis Ian. But we're going to start with this. Harold Alexander, Sunshine Man. This is one of the rare times Richard Davis plays electric bass. And I think some people know this album. Some people may not know this album. This thing is a groover. Awesome record. Harold Alexander was in Pucho and the Latin Soul Brothers. The song Mama Soul. He plays flute. It's amazing. Amazing groove. He plays soprano and flute on that. I've shown this, my guitar video. This might have been his first session, Richard Davis' first session after Sarah Vaughan. Night at the Vanguard, Kenny Burrell. This, I don't know much about Albert Daly. But he's on this, The Day After Dawn. And part of the reason I got this, I didn't know who Albert Daly was. However many years ago I got this. Part of the reason is because of the players on here, and one of them is Richard Davis. And yeah, it's a very, very unique album. It's almost like some of it is like chamber jazz in a way, and some of it, there's a chamber group: cello, bassoon, flute, two oboes. But a lot of great players on here: Percy Heath, Roy Haynes. David Lee, the drummer. But yeah, Albert Daly, Columbia Records. I think this is 1972. I've shown this, my duos video. I did 2 of these with Walt Dickerson. There he is. He was on a number of Booker Ervin records. All the book albums on Prestige, the Song Book, Freedom Book, the Blues Book. This one is the Space Book. Whew. And he did a lot of sessions with drummer Alan Dawson. If I see Richard Davis and Alan Dawson as the rhythm section, I'm getting it. And this also has Jackie Bayard, who was part of that trio. And I don't think that trio just made an album together. It would have been great if they did. Spacebook, 1965. Another one I've shown. Don Friedman. It's quartet with Attila Zoller, Richard Davis, and Joe Chambers. Cool record. Chico Hamilton, The Dealer, with Larry Coryell. This might be Larry Coryell's first recording. There he is, Richard Davis. Impulse. The Hub of Hubbard, Freddie Hubbard on MPS. And there he is. This is 1969 with Eddie Daniels, Richard Davis, Roland Hanna, and Louis Hayes. Awesome smoking album right here. After Freddie left Blue Note. I've shown these. It's Elvin Jones. This is a co-leader, Elvin Jones, Richard Davis. It's on that. And some of these, he's not on the whole thing, maybe a song or two. He's on a song on this Proof Positive, J.J. Johnson. This is a nice record too, Impulse. Early Impulse. He's on the song Lullaby of Jazzland. And the other bassist on here is Arthur Harper Jr. And if you don't know, this album is great. He's the only horn on here. He's a trombone, which I presume is difficult to do, to lead a group as the only horn playing trombone. Amazing version of Miles Davis's Tio, which is titled Neo here. 10 minutes plus. Proof Positive. I have this Trip pressing, Roland Kirk, Rip, Rig, and Panic. Another great one. This was originally on Mercury, and Trip reissued a lot of these, and the pressing's not that bad. With Elvin Jones, Jackie Bayard, Richard Davis, 1965. Killer record. That's the original cover. Charles Lloyd, Discovery, another one. Don Friedman, Eddie Kahn plays bass on half of these. Richard Davis is on the other half. Roy Haynes, J.C. Moses, Columbia. This is his. We just get it mixed up. Of course, or this. I can't remember which one came out first. I think Of course. Little Piece. Charles Lloyd did that a lot. Dedication to Booker Little, fellow Memphis player. Herbie Mann, Impressions of the Middle East. Richard Davis is on one track. Eli. Atlantic, Herbie Mann. This might have been his first sign of kind of going away from traditional jazz. Impressions of the Middle East. I've shown these before. Pat Martino, Exit, Footprints, Richard Davis on both of these, 72, 76. Pat Martino, great Philadelphia guitar player. And Mingus hired him to play bass on this record. So, you know, if Mingus wants you as a bass player, you must have your chops. And then here's the one that I have here that may be a surprise. Astral Weeks. Richard Davis bass. Van Morrison actually uses all jazz players. Jay Berliner, Richard Davis, Connie Kay on drums. Connie Kay, early bop guy, was in Modern Jazz Quartet. And John Payne on flute and sax. And you listen to the bass on this album just all the way through, especially the way Young Lovers Do. Yeah, the bass playing on that. Yeah, Van Morrison. I used to know the story why he picked these musicians, but it escapes me now. Hannibal, Marvin Peterson. Sunrise Orchestra, Children of Fire. This is, it's not lush arrangements, but just vast arrangements, a lot of instruments, vocals. This is a great record. Hannibal, Marvin Peterson, I believe it's from Texas. And Richard Davis, it's on bass. It's Jimmy Rainey, I may have shown this. Momentum. This is a 74. It's a trio. Jimmy Rainey, Richard Davis, and Alan Dawson. Again, Richard Davis, Alan Dawson. And there are the guys there. That's Richard Davis. Rare photo of Alan Dawson. He's on a couple of Pharoah Sanders, Karma, and Jewels of Thought. I don't need to say much about this. Humala. Sonny Stitt. Stitt plays Bird. This is 1961. This is another early session of his. Yeah, with John Lewis, Jim Hall on guitar, John Lewis piano, Jim Hall guitar, and Connie Kay drums. Killer stuff. Sonny Stitt. Atlantic did a series of albums like this with these abstract paintings kind of portraying the artists. Lucky Thompson, Lucky Strikes, Richard Davis, Hank Jones, Connie Kay. Lucky Thompson's a great saxophone player. Played tenor on this one. He plays, I think this might have been his first session on soprano. I'm not totally sure about that. It was recorded in 63, I believe. Lucky Strikes. And the last one I have is Phil Woods, Musique du Bois. Unless he's talking about E.W. Du Bois, then it's Musique du Bois. Phil Woods, and here's that rhythm section. Jackie Bayard, Richard Davis, Alan Dawson, 1974. That trio, Bayard, Davis, Dawson. You can't go wrong if they're on it. Or even if you see Richard Davis and Alan Dawson. Bayard wasn't always on the session. 74, this is a nice record. Summer Knows. Summer Knows is one of those songs, if I see it, more likely than not, I'm going to get it. So that's what I have. This is about 25 records. Then we'll go back to what's playing here. Philosophy of the Spiritual. No horn. He plays bowed bass. A lot of sessions he played bowed bass, and he was highly renowned for that. This you have Chick Corea on piano, Sam Brown guitar, Bill Lee, Spike's father on second bass, Sonny Brown drums, Frank Dunlop added percussion. And Bill Lee, I think, wrote all the originals on here. Fantastic, fantastic record. And you can hear I hope it's not too loud. I hope this video makes it through. Yeah. Richard Davis, Philosophy of the Spiritual. So people may notice. I didn't show everything. There's some obvious ones I didn't show. He did about a dozen sessions for Blue Note. I'm not showing any of those because I'm leaving that up to the 4000 series project. For those who may not know, we're showing the 4000 series Blue Notes that I'm a part of with Rob and Dave and other people who want to fill in the gaps. So I figure I'll leave the Blue Note sessions. And the Blue Note sessions, Richard Davis, that's where he really came into his own and started to make a name for himself. It was on those Blue Notes. A lot of them are Andrew Hill sessions. So yeah, that's it. Richard Davis, happy 90th birthday, belated. And yeah, if anybody wants to do Sam Jones discography, I'd love to see it. All right, everyone take it easy.